The news report was dramatic. Local man missing, presumed dead after hiking accident. Wife's emotional plea for help. Sandra deserved an Oscar. Tears on cue, voice breaking at just the right moments. Please, if anyone has seen my husband... But while she performed for the cameras, I was 3 blocks away in my friend's apartment, watching it all unfold. The FBI had approached me 2 weeks earlier. Sandra and her boyfriend had killed before. 2 previous husbands, both accidents. Both huge insurance payouts. I was supposed to be victim number 3. Instead, I became bait. Welcome to the channel where betrayal meets justice. If you love stories of deception and calculated revenge, hit subscribe. Let me tell you how I helped catch a black widow who thought she'd found her next victim. My name is Paul Morrison, 45 years old, software consultant from Portland, Oregon. I met Sandra at a tech conference in 2019. She was beautiful, charming, worked in medical device sales. Recently widowed, she said. Her husband had died in a boating accident 2 years prior. She seemed vulnerable, sweet, still grieving. I fell for it completely. We married in 2020. A small ceremony due to COVID. Sandra moved into my house, quit her job to focus on us. I was making good money, had excellent life insurance through my company, $3 million policy. She insisted. We increase it. You're my whole world now, she said. If something happened to you, I'd be lost. I actually thought it was sweet. For 2 years, life seemed perfect. Sandra was attentive, loving, always concerned about my health and safety. Looking back, the red flags were obvious. She was obsessed with my daily routines, always knew where I was. Encouraged me to take up dangerous hobbies, rock climbing, mountain biking, solo hiking. You work so hard, she'd say. You need adventure. Her personal trainer, Ryan, started coming to the house in early 2023. Tall, muscular, charming. Sandra said she needed to get in shape, feel better about herself. I supported it, even when their sessions ran long. Even when I found them having wine on our deck after working out. I trusted my wife. Fool that I was. March 2023. I was working from home when the doorbell rang. 2 FBI agents, showing badges. Mr. Morrison, we need to discuss your wife. Privately. My first thought was Sandra was in trouble. My second thought was worse. Something had happened to her. Neither was correct. Your wife Sandra was previously married to James Walsh and Robert Chun. Agent Martinez said, sliding photos across my kitchen table. Both died in accidents within 2 years of marriage. Both had substantial life insurance policies. I stared at the photos. 2 men, different races, different ages, both dead. Coincidence? I asked weakly. Agent Cooper shook her head. James Walsh drowned in a sailing accident. Experienced sailor, calm day, somehow fell overboard and couldn't swim back. Robert Chun fell during a hiking trip. Experienced hiker, easy trail, somehow slipped off a cliff. What are you saying? Though I already knew. We believe your wife and her accomplice have killed at least 2 men for insurance money. You have a $3 million policy. You've taken up dangerous hobbies. The pattern fits. My coffee mug shook in my hands. Her accomplice? The personal trainer. Ryan Becker. He was present in both previous cities where the husbands died. The FBI laid out their proposition. They'd been building a case but needed proof. Previous deaths were ruled accidents. They needed to catch Sandra in the act. We want you to disappear? Martinez explained. Go hiking, like normal. But don't come back. Let her report you missing, file for death certificate, claim insurance, document everything. You want me to be bait. We want you to help us stop a serial killer, Cooper corrected. We'll have agents watching. You'll be safe. But Sandra needs to believe you're dead. Really believe it. Can you do that? I thought about the grieving widow I'd met, how she'd cried talking about her first husband. Now I knew those tears were practice. What about Ryan? I asked. We've been watching him. He's been researching your hiking routes, asking about your schedule at the gym. We think they're planning something soon. The plan was simple. I'd announce a spontaneous solo hiking trip, something I'd done before. I'd leave Tuesday morning, be missing by Wednesday night. FBI would monitor everything. I'd watch from a safe house as Sandra revealed her true self. Tuesday, April 18th, 6 a.m., I kissed. Sandra, goodbye. Just need to clear my head. That big project has me stressed. She smiled, concerned and loving. Be careful, honey. That trail can be dangerous. Of course, she knew which trail. She'd suggested it last week. Steep drops, river crossings, isolated. Perfect for an accident. I drove to the trailhead where FBI agents were waiting. They took my car, gave me a ride to the safe house, a friend's apartment 3 blocks from my home. Multiple cameras, recording equipment, direct line to the surveillance team. My part was simple. Watch and wait. Sandra played the devoted wife perfectly. She waited exactly 48 hours, the legal minimum, before calling. 911. My husband hasn't come home from hiking. This isn't like him. I'm so worried. The tears in her voice sounded real. Practice makes perfect, I suppose. The search began Thursday morning. Rangers, volunteers, even search dogs. Sandra was there, of course. Local news covered it. Desperate. Wife seeks missing husband. She wore my favorite shirt, clutched my photo, sobbed for the cameras. Paul, if you can hear this, please come home. I love you so much. By Friday, Sandra shifted to acceptance. The rangers say with the river so high, if he fell. She couldn't finish, breaking down beautifully. Ryan was there, supportive friend. Strong shoulder. The cameras ate it up. Local woman fears the worst as search continues. What the cameras didn't catch was their celebration that night. I watched through our security system as Sandra and Ryan opened champagne in my living room. To new beginnings, Ryan toasted. Sandra laughed. God, I thought I'd have to cry forever. My eyes hurt. They moved to the bedroom then. I turned off that camera. Some things even FBI agents don't need to see. Saturday morning, Sandra made the calls. Insurance company first. I know it's early, but the rangers said, with the water. Temperature ... even if he survived the fall. So professional in her grief. Then a lawyer about my will. Then a realtor about the house. All while wearing black, all while grieving. The FBI agents watching with me took notes. She's good, Martinez admitted. Best performance we've seen. She had practice, I reminded them. 2 dead husbands. Worth of practice. By Sunday, Sandra pushed for a death declaration. Without a body, it usually takes years, her lawyer explained on speaker. Unless there's evidence of death. The rangers found his backpack by the cliff, his car at the trailhead. The river below is known to be fatal. We can petition for expedited declaration. Whatever it takes, Sandra sobbed. I just need closure. Closure meaning my $3 million. The petition was filed Monday. By Wednesday, exactly 1 week after I'd disappeared, a judge granted the declaration. Paul Morrison was officially dead. Sandra's grief lasted about 10 minutes after the ruling. I watched her literally dance around our bedroom, holding the death certificate. She called Ryan immediately. It's done. We did it. Then, more careful. The declaration came through. At least now I can start healing. The insurance claim was filed within hours. The house went on the market within days. Sandra started shopping for a new Mercedes. She posted on social media about starting a new chapter and what Paul would have wanted. My mother, who lived in Florida and couldn't travel due to health issues, called Sandra crying. Sandra comforted her while simultaneously texting Ryan about vacation destinations. 2 weeks after my death, the FBI was ready. They had recorded conversations between Sandra and Ryan discussing the murder plan. They had financial records showing Ryan had received payments after the previous husband's deaths. They had Sandra on camera practicing her grieving widow performance before calling 911. But they wanted the insurance fraud to be ironclad. The insurance company, working with FBI, approved the payout. $3 million would be available for pickup. On Friday, May 5th, Sandra dressed in designer black, grieving widow chic, and drove to the insurance office. Ryan waited in the car. They were planning to leave for Mexico that night. I waited in an FBI van outside. Part of me still couldn't believe it. The woman I'd loved, who'd shared my bed, who'd promised to grow old with me, had been planning my murder from day one. The agents assured me this was normal. Black widows are excellent actresses, Cooper said. That's how they survive. Sandra emerged from the insurance office, practically glowing. She had a cashier's check for $3 million. She and Ryan kissed in the parking lot. No more pretense needed. They drove to our house to pack. That's when we made our move. The FBI wanted dramatic impact for the jury. So while Sandra and Ryan were inside packing, I walked up to my own front door and rang the bell. I heard Sandra's voice. If that's another neighbor with a casserole, I'm going to scream. She opened. The door. The look on her face was worth every minute of fear, every night in that safe house. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. The color drained from her face. She actually staggered backward. "Hi, honey," I said calmly. "I'm home." "Paul?" But ... You're dead. I have the certificate. The insurance. She was backing away, shaking. Ryan appeared behind her, equally shocked. "What the fuck?" was all he managed. "Paul Morrison, alive and well," I said, stepping inside my own home. "Though I hear you've been telling people otherwise. By the way, Sandra, you might want to look outside." FBI agents were swarming the property. The tactical team was already in position. Agent Martinez walked up behind me. "Sandra Morrison, Ryan Becker, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, attempted murder, insurance fraud, and 2 counts of murder in the first degree." Sandra tried to run. Where she thought she was going, I don't know. Agents caught her in the kitchen. She was screaming that I was dead. This was impossible. I was a ghost. Ryan tried to fight, which went about as well as you'd expect against federal agents. Both were in handcuffs within minutes. The trial was a sensation. Black widow caught by dead husband made national news. The prosecution's case was overwhelming. They had recordings of Sandra and Ryan planning my death, discussing how to make it look accidental, debating whether drowning or falling was better. "He trusts you," Ryan said in one recording. "Just get him near the edge." They had financial records showing Ryan received $500,000 after James Walsh's death, $750,000 after Robert Chon's death. They had Sandra's research history. How long to declare someone dead? Accidental death insurance payout. Best states for quick death certificates. She'd literally Googled how to kill me and get away with it. My testimony was the nail in the coffin. I described our marriage, her encouraging dangerous hobbies, Ryan's presence, the FBI approach. But the most damaging was the security footage from our house. Sandra celebrating my death with champagne while I supposedly lay broken at the bottom of a cliff. The defense tried to argue entrapment, that I'd faked my death to frame her. But the evidence of the previous murders was too strong. James Walsh's family testified about Sandra's quick remarriage after his death. Robert Chun's sister revealed Sandra had taken out Additional insurance policies without telling him. The jury deliberated for 2 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sandra got life without. Parole for the murders, plus 25 years for my attempted murder and fraud. Ryan got the same. During sentencing, Sandra actually had the audacity to cry about how I'd betrayed her. He let me think he was dead. He traumatized me. The judge was unmoved. Mrs. Morrison, you killed 2 innocent men for money. You attempted to kill a third. The only trauma here is what you inflicted on 3 families. The fact that Mr. Morrison survived your scheme through FBI intervention doesn't diminish your crimes. It illuminates them. The insurance money was returned. The house sale canceled. I filed for divorce the day after the verdict. It was granted immediately. Attempting to murder your spouse is grounds for expedited dissolution. Sandra's assets from her previous murders were seized, distributed to the victims' families. The hardest part was learning the truth about our entire relationship. During the investigation, the FBI found Sandra's journals. She documented everything. How she targeted me at that conference, researched my finances before our first date, calculated how long to wait before suggesting marriage. Every moment I'd treasured was scripted. Paul seems lonely, vulnerable after his recent breakup. Easy mark, one entry read. Another suggested hiking today. He's getting comfortable with dangerous trails. Maybe by fall. She'd been planning my death before our first anniversary. I needed therapy, obviously. Learning your wife is a serial killer isn't something you process alone. Dr. Kim helped me understand I wasn't stupid for missing the signs. Psychopaths are exceptional mimics, she explained. Sandra studied normal human emotion and reproduced it perfectly. You fell in love with a performance. The other widows' families reached out. We formed an odd support group, Survivors of Sandra's Web. James Walsh's brother told me James had also been encouraged to take up dangerous sports. Robert Chon's mother, Sandra, had tried to isolate him from family. The patterns were clear in hindsight. I left Portland. Too many memories, too much. Media attention. Moved to a small town in Colorado where nobody knew the Black Widow story. Started consulting remotely. Rebuilt my life slowly. Dating was off the table. Trust issues didn't begin to cover it. But I found peace in small things. Hiking alone, safely, on easy trails. No more extreme sports for me. Cooking, something Sandra never did. Claimed she was hopeless in the kitchen. Now I know she just didn't want to have access to my food. Paranoid? Maybe. But earned paranoia. The FBI asked me to speak at law enforcement conferences about the Black Widow phenomenon. I agreed, if my story could help catch another Sandra, prevent another Paul from falling for the performance, it was worth reliving. The agents told me they'd identified at least 12 similar cases nationwide. Sandra wasn't unique, just uniquely caught. My name is Paul Morrison. I survived a Black Widow who killed 2 men and tried to make me number 3. She played the grieving widow while planning my death, celebrated my demise with champagne while I watched from hiding. The FBI used me as bait to catch a serial killer who happened to be my wife. The news report that night, local man missing, presumed dead, was theater. Sandra deserved an Oscar for her performance, and in a way, she got it. Life in prison, no possibility of parole. A captive audience forever. Ryan, her accomplice and lover, shares the same fate. 2 killers who thought they'd found the perfect murder scheme, caught because they didn't know the FBI was watching. I learned that love can be a weapon, marriage can be a trap, and the person sleeping beside you might be planning your funeral. But I also learned that justice, while sometimes slow, can be thorough. And that sometimes, the best way to catch a killer is to let them think they've already won. To anyone whose partner suddenly encourages dangerous hobbies, who pushes for increased life insurance, who seems a little too interested in your daily. Routines pay attention. The person who claims to love you most might be the one planning to love your money more. Sandra taught me that. The FBI taught me to survive it. I'm alive today because 2 agents knocked on my door and told me my wife was a killer. I'm free today because I agreed to disappear, to watch my own funeral planning, to let my would-be murderer believe she'd won. Sometimes you have to die to truly live. Sometimes you have to become a ghost to catch a monster. The hiking trail Sandra chose for my death is still there. I drove past it once, months after the trial. Peaceful place, actually. Beautiful. Views. Terrible place to die. Perfect place to disappear. She chose well, just not well enough.